welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Stephen Van Eierstein, and thank you for joining me again for the daily reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. We're on January 24th today, and really looking forward to it. Yesterday I went a little bit long on the daily reading share just because it just was something that really struck a chord with me. You know, a lot of these are just striking such deep chords that resonate with my personal experiences that I can share for probably an hour on each one of these if given the time. But I want to keep these short, so they're bite-sized for people to just throw on when they're driving from place to place in the car or whatnot, and just to put a little bit of that spiritual path in someone's mind. So here we go. This is, again, James Allen's Daily Meditation for January 24th. We advance by a series of efforts. We gather strength, whether mental or physical, by a succession of strivings in given directions. Exertion, oft repeated, leads to power. It is by obeying this law that the athlete trains himself to accomplish wonderful feats of speed or endurance. When the exertion is along intellectual lines, it leads to unusual talent or genius. And when in spiritual channels, it leads to wisdom or transcendent greatness. We should not mourn when circumstances are driving us to greater efforts and more protracted exertion. Events are only evil to the mind that makes them so. They are good to him who accepts their discipline as salutary. Thou wilt find truth within the narrow sphere of thy duty, even in the humble and hidden sacrifices of thine own heart. There is no blessedness anywhere until impatience is sacrificed. So many great lines in this reading. I really like just the line it opens with. We advance by a series of efforts. To move forward, we have to do things. We have to take actions. Again, I said it. This might have been yesterday. I talked about people getting stuck in the thought part of change, the thought part of problem solving to work through their difficulties. Understanding and gaining depth of knowledge and of a topic or a problem or a difficulty is important, but we advance by a series of efforts. We need to take action. Action. What are we doing? And that can be physical. And then he goes on in this that we gain strength, whether mental or physical, by a succession of strivings in given directions. Exertion, oft repeated, leads to power. It is obeying this law that the athlete trains himself to accomplish wonderful feats of speed or endurance. So when he takes a series of efforts and he exerts himself, he puts effort and puts emotion and interest into something and training into it, he accomplished wonderful feats of speed or endurance. When exertion is along intellectual lines, it leads to unusual talent or genius. And when in spiritual lines, it leads to wisdom or transcendent greatness, right? Like these principles we practice in the spiritual world, they lead us to wisdom that we didn't know existed. We have these preconceived beliefs and ideas that we feed into this stuff. But the reality of it is, with exertion in the spiritual realm, it leads to wisdoms and truths we knew not were there. And that's a great thing to understand. And the thing is, this is a law. You need exertion. You need to have strivings. You need to take those actions and step forward, whether it's learning, whether it's writing, meditation, prayer, and then adding to your knowledge, expanding what you know, or just the training that comes with the physicality part of these things, right? Like, these are the actions that we need to take. Being stagnant in these areas provides no growth, and that gets lost, I think. To understand something conceptually does nothing if you do nothing with the concept. It's just stagnant information. And where do you go from there, And then the next line: we should not mourn when circumstances are driving us to greater efforts and more protracted exertion. Like, when things get harder, when it requires more of us, what that does is it draws more out of us. And we need those external challenges to bring the depths of our strength and our integrity and our willingness out to that surface, to grow in those capacities and just to be available. And so do not be upset when these things happen, is what it's saying. Don't roll your eyes like so many of us do. Don't get frustrated and throw in the towel. Oh, we have to do more work to get there. When these are the challenges that prove the depth and the strength of character that we want to have. Events are only evil to the mind that makes them so. It's your perspective on these exertions. It's your perspective on this additional effort that makes them bad or evil or strenuous. They are good to him who accepts them, accepts their discipline as salutary. When you see them as these beneficial things in your life and opportunities to discover more about yourself and to grow, they're good to you. Thou wilt find truth within the narrow sphere of thy duty, even in the humble and hidden sacrifices of thine own heart. We usually have to sacrifice the things we least want to get the most spiritual gain, Whether, for me, I took comfort in drugs and alcohol for a long time. Those had to go. Cigarettes had to go. Codependency had to go. Those were all my coping skills. Those are the things I held on to. I had to sacrifice those things to let truth in, perspective in, reality in, spirituality in to my life. I didn't know that was possible. Even it extends so far as to even things like sugar, caffeine sometimes. These are real obstacles some people tackle and face. And it could be food, gambling, sex, a lot of things we don't want to sacrifice because they give us that pleasure and things like that. We'll find truth behind those things and those sacrifices. When we sacrifice our time when we don't want to, in the name of service, to help those that are in need, that we have the ability to help, you'll find thou wilt find truth within that narrow sphere of thy duty, even the humble hidden sacrifice of thine own heart. And I love this last part. So don't hurry the process. There is no blessedness anywhere until impatience is sacrificed. Till you respect the process, understand the process, or that there is a process. You will always be disturbed. You'll always be unsettled, discontented. But when you can take the stance of respect and understanding for things, all things in life, people, circumstances, ideas, you'll get some blessedness, and you'll get some patience, which allows you to travel these roads of blessedness. So, Great reading again. Went for 10 minutes again today. Sorry about the length here, guys, but I get very very excited about some of these, and very they resonate with me just so deeply. So thank y'all for jumping on for January 24th, and I look forward to January 25th. As always, I'll see you the next time on here. Until then, thanks.